Hey folks, welcome one and all to the latest episode of On the Table, your guide to what's hot in the world of tabletop gaming. So everyone is talking about it. Loads of you have probably thrown your cash at it, and it's quite possibly going to turn our industry upside down. Yep, I'm talking about Kickstarter. And in this episode, we're going to take you through a few Kickstarter projects that may just take your fancy. We're also going to delve into some role-playing, and of course, we have some awesome models to show you too. Planes, trains, and automobiles. Okay, maybe not trains, not yet anyway. Puppets War have been very busy bringing a mass of interesting and fun vehicles and other machines to your sci-fi battlefield. If you like to fly, they have the brilliantly named Orcoplane. Or maybe you'd prefer to ride along in style via the VSE light or indeed heavy motorbike covered in guns. If you have a love of the cybernetic, then they have you covered too with their giant cyber beetle and twisted wraith-like creatures. Wild West weirdness and deadly Macabre models? Yep. Well, that's gotta be the world of Malifaux from Weird Miniatures. Their range of minis is utterly astounding and continues to grow month by month, bringing that shiny syndrome well down like a sack of bricks. The range is a mix of the fun, the mad, and the downright insane, with amazingly detailed sculpts. Perfect for painters and indeed gamers. The models are begging to be picked up. It's highly doubtful you'll find more original models on the market than the ones from Weird Miniatures, and their game is pretty up there too, having a massive following. So, what you waiting for? Head on over to their website, take a look through the range, and indeed delve into their weird world, because just maybe, something's gonna jump out at you. Dungeons and Dragons. We love you so. Yep. The grandpappy of role-playing systems has had its ups and downs over the last few years, with 4th edition being both loved and loathed in equal measure. But could all this be about to change? The guys over at Wizards of the Coast have just released their new public playtest rules for D&D 5th edition, or D&D Next as it's being codenamed. This innovative approach to researching a game, taking into account practically a world's worth of gamer knowledge, could produce, maybe, the definitive edition of Dungeons & Dragons we're all wanting. So the question has to be asked, will this forthcoming rule set bring together heroes of all editions? Well, only time will tell, but we have a pretty strong feeling that it could be a fairly fantastic experience. Next up, we have pistol whipping good news from the cowpokes at Gangfight Games, who are diligently working at their game Blackwater Gulch. With everything moving so quickly, more factions are needed to get the gangs fighting against each other. So it's darn awesome to see a massive new models in the works for the Renegade Bandidos Mexicano, the Hard-Nosed Vigilance Committee, and even the Blood Wolf Indian tribes. The Wild West is seriously heating up, and we can't wait to see all these gangs getting into an old-fashioned bar brawl sooner rather than later. So what would you say if I mentioned the word puppets? No, we're not talking about Kermit and Gonzo here. This is real wargaming puppets. The world of Relics has been graced by some superb models and a great game from Tor Gaming. But their newest faction is certainly a step on the darker side. Drawing from the dank depths of the world are the Nuem, a faction of deadly warriors hell-bent on destruction and mayhem. Chain weapons and cruel blades are the name of the game for these deadly folk, and you wouldn't want to be meeting them in a dark alley. Tor Gaming have been working on this faction steadily for the last few weeks, and their amazing Kickstarter success has pushed this faction to new heights. With a distinct departure from what we're used to seeing, could this be the faction that gets everyone talking about Relics? Most of you will probably already be aware of Weird World War. You're not? Well, basically it takes the start of the 20th century and turns it on its scientific and horrifying head. But what we really need, surely, is some way of mixing fantasy races into the mix. Well, Black Hat Miniatures have done just that with their metal World War I goblins dressed in German uniforms. They come with a variety of different weapons, allowing you to field a crack squad. But what use is it having a World War army themed in fantasy if you've got nothing to fight? Our buddies at Akula may just have the answer. If you want to take the ancient feud of dwarf and goblin to the trenches, then check out their Russian-themed beardlings. Now, the only thing we need is a system to come along which allows us to bring more races to this theatre of war. No doubt about it, we all need some great bases and accessories to adorn our battlefields and dungeons. Tabletop Art are a company specializing in the little things you didn't think you needed, but now, well, you can't live without. Potions for a wizard's study, massive banners to adorn a warlord's hall, maybe even a row of masterful spellbooks for an elven mage. Tabletop Art, well, they have it all. They even cover bases too, offering a wide selection of scenic creations which are perfect for starting a small force. This could add another level of character to an already stunning army. While we're on the topic of scenic bases, how about checking out the superb Dragon Forge designs? Specializing in masterful scenic displays, this company has a plethora of different options for your toy soldiers. If you're into fantasy, sci-fi, or even historical, there will be something for you inside their blistering forge, and in a variety of types too. Chariot, monster mounted, and even massive colossal bases are ready to go with just enough detail to have you loving them while avoiding all the frustrations of a cluttered base. Mechs, gears, guns. All stuff we love over here at Beasts of War, so it was great to see more of it come out of DreamPod 9 as they added another feature to their new cool faction. Their Voltigeur tank is a behemoth on the battlefield, standing as tall if not taller than many of the gears. With a variety of weapons, its purpose is to protect the army as it floods forward using indirect fire to bombard the enemy. But if you're looking for a proper gear, then how about the Sapeur engineering gear? Useful for both blitz and heavy gear, this hulking monster is just what you need to slice and dice your enemies. Dwarves, elves, undead, orcs, abyssal dwarfs, and Twilight King. Yep, the world of Kings of War has it all. So what could Mantic Games possibly do now? Well, the world of Mantica is expanding with a brand new hardback rulebook coming soon. Inside will be the rules for all the races of their fantasy world, as well as amazing artwork and, well, apparently much more. As if that wasn't enough, Mantic have also started a Kickstarter for the game in which you can pledge to unlock exclusive content and fund the production of, wait for it, werewolves, trolls, and even a mighty ogre army. The fantastic looking Battle for Alabaster puts you in the boots of a Vanguard trooper squad trying to work out just what has happened aboard an abandoned research station. Little do they know that the Deadly Strain, who have some pretty impressive models to represent them, have taken over, and it's now a race against time to stop their deadly progress. This fantastic mission-based game looks like it could be a blast to play, and with an amazing background crafted specifically for the model range, we can only hope that there's a lot more to come. I'm back to Kickstarter again. Yes, you could check out more about the Battle for Alabaster at their Kickstarter project, but if you just want the models, you can head on over to Studio McVeigh and let your shiny syndrome take over. The Dark Ages. Such a fantastic time period, filled with myth and legend, and indeed loads of medieval models from the likes of Redbox Games. Those guys have some brilliant models ready to smash their way onto a bloody battlefield. Redbox Games have a number of factions, each drawing from a very dark area of folklore, with creatures like the dangerous Fenris coming through in Norse mythology. But that doesn't mean they feel bound by that. Nether beasts, warriors clad in chaotic armor, and barbarian sorceresses all make up the ranks of Redbox Games armies. Tutatis is a fantastic game of Gallic fantasy football that had previously only been in Italian. Thankfully now, the folks at Grebo Miniatures have translated their free, yes free, rules into English, as well as a selection of their team factions. With fantastic little models which have an original take on the typical dwarf or orc, and a smart, clean rule system which is easy to pick up and play, this is one fantasy game you should definitely be trying to pick up. After all, what games can boast you playing with a race of long-limbed pink creatures howling at the top of their lungs? With a distinct art style which brings the comical and the brutal together, the welcome update to English means we can all enjoy this game and its beautiful little models. It wasn't long ago that Avatars of War developed their Dwarf Berserker plastic kit, which took the gaming world by storm. Now, they intend to do the same with the deadly apocalyptic armies too. Massive regiments of armoured warriors stalking the wastelands of Saga, while at the head stand mighty warriors pledged to the different deities. But even now, more warriors oppose them. A great Kickstarter campaign is in the works to bring a grand dwarf army into production, meaning those pesky apocalyptic warriors won't be having all the fun. Of course, now we've reached that part of the show where we take you on yet another step in the world of Infinity. In this camouflage dedicated video, we're going to see how the reactive player can turn the situation around by delaying his automatic reaction order declaration until the camouflage marker declares its second short skill of its order. The active player wants to move his thermo-optical camouflage marker, which hides a Spectre hacker, to a point on the battlefield where she can use her cyber warfare skills. The active player declares the first short skill of the order, Move. The reactive player can now declare the automatic reaction orders of all troops with line of fire to the thermo-optical camouflage marker. In this situation, it is 2 Celestial Guards and 1 invisible Shang-Chi. The Celestial Guards declare Discover, but the Shang-Chi prefers to wait until the marker declares the second short skill of the order. Now the Spectre hacker has a dilemma. If she just declares a move to keep advancing towards her target, she risks being revealed by the Celestial Guards. But if she decides to attack her enemies, then she will reveal herself, and the Shang-Chi, if it survives, could perform a shoot automatic reaction order. However, in both cases, at the end of the order, she will be revealed and her figure will be in open ground, without cover against the remaining enemies. And remember guys, for all your Infinity goodness, you can hop on over to www.beastsofwar.com/infinity, our dedicated Infinity hub, well, to all things Infinity. And now we come to that all-important part of the show, not the end, but the bit where we give something away. And this week, we're giving away Malifaux Starter Sets. Yes, we have Arcanists and Resurrectionists. So, if you fancy picking up a new game, or you just fancy expanding your Malifaux collection, all you have to do is both comment below this video on YouTube, not on beastsofwar.com, but on YouTube, and make sure that you are a subscriber to our YouTube channel. If you're on the website, the links are on below. If you're watching this on TV, the QR code is coming up on screen. So, that's it for another week. You can keep up to date with all the latest from Beasts of War by joining us on any of those social networks, including YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or on the awesome www.beastsofwar.com, where we're always reporting on the latest news and reviews just for you. Euphoria! We should do the Beasts of War entry for Eurovision. Yeah, we'll say the British entries for Eurovision are always crap. We're going to do one. Hey, the very cute. That's Lordi from Finland, yeah. They're the ones that won it. Do you remember Lordy winning it?
Did